I just realized that this is like the most un-hobbity thing ever. You're going to make this whole outfit in one day, Mr. Frodo? When will you have time for elevensies? It's time to get spicy. Pumpkin spice, that is. Sorry, neighbors. The leaves are turning, the days are shorter, and the majority of the Northern Hemisphere is sporting earth tones and enjoying cool, misty, autumnal weather. And therein lies the problem, my little thread bunnies. Because my local costuming group's annual Hobbit picnic is fast approaching, and I want to be a pumpkin spice hobbit. Could I, in fact, just make a pumpkiny head wreath and closet cosplay the crap out of this look? I sure could, and planned to, except the weather has not yet broken here in Texas. And the forecast for the day of the picnic, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The third week of October. Mid-weight linen and stays full of plastic ain't gonna cut it in that. Problem number 2, it's in less than a week. What's a hobbit to do? Dedicate one day, and only one day, to making a lighter weight, more comfy costume for this brutal heat. That day is tomorrow. So I'm gonna go cook some dinner, get some much needed beauty rest, and I'll catch up with you in the morning. Good afternoon. Not me starting my day at 1:45 and just infinitely making my life harder. Oh well, you know, I work 4 jobs. I'm entitled to have a couple of hours to myself in the morning. Despite the late hour, I still think that this is a feasible thing for us to do. So let's go and talk about the design. We're going to keep this simple and unboned for maximum breathability. Starting with a cute 18th century inspired petticoat made out of lightweight striped orange linen. I already had the fabric in my stash for this very purpose, but hadn't found the time to do it yet. Then we'll make a rust-colored sleeveless top to carry on that autumnal vibe. I also had this fabric in my stash, and I desperately need cute tops to go with my history-bounding skirts. So this speed make is now going to kill 3 orcs with 1 stone. Finally, we'll top the curly Sue with a pumpkiny hobbity wreath. Now realistically, the hand sewing is not going to get done today. That's okay. I have enough time to get all of that done in the evenings, so let's go ahead and change my serger thread. The blouse is going to be the hardest thing to do, so we're going to knock that out first. I've decided to make it reversible. You have to line it anyway, why not make both sides do the work for you? We're going to be using Charm Pattern's picnic blouse for this without the sleeves. First, we need to tackle the darts. One thing I've noticed about the Charm Patterns is that Gertie really favors these cut out dart shapes in the bodice front. While I understand why they're cut out, I don't like it. And after what happens to me later in the video, you'll understand why I'll be making them regular darts from now on. $12 darts on this tiny little bodice. That's so many darts! Also, can we just take a minute to appreciate this crazy fabric that I bought? This is from Burnley and Trowbridge. It's based on an extant textile from the 1820s, and it's got like hot pink and aqua floral design on a burnt orange background. Does that even match? I'm not sure that it does. And then on top of that, it's got this white scrolly design, and if you look close enough, not only is it a white scrolly design, but it's a white scrolly design on top of stripes. Can you see that? All I know is that I saw this online and just loved how wackadoodle it was, and I had to have it. Gotta love a crazy pattern. Also, there's been a lot of talk in the community about how, you know, costume designers are really ruining period pieces because everything is brown, there's no color, and this is a perfect example because this is 1820s. This is pre-aniline dyes, and they were wearing wackadoodle color combinations. Why is everything brown in movies? That is all I'm gonna say about that. Let's move on. My fan is noisy. I need to turn it off, but my table is already up and my arm too short to reach the socket. Grabby thing to the rescue. Instructions say to interface the lining using fusible interfacing. And with that done, we can go ahead and assemble the sides, followed by the shoulders. And through my shockingly dirty sliding glass door, a little friend. Speaking of squirrels, this one needs a snack. Well, I just tried the blouse on to make sure it fit before I cut all of those seams, and it's a good thing I did because for some reason the side bust darts are wackadoodle and they're very low and they're bubbling up and it looks horrible. I don't know why that happened because the mock-up was fine, but it's okay. I just need to raise the darts, but it is 4 o'clock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go exercise before I come up with an excuse not to. And when I'm feeling fresh, we can come back, finish up the blouse and get started on the skirt. Okay, we have been exercised. I now have a spooky drink. Woo! Okay, I'll stop stalling. Here's the new placement of the dart. It's about half a dart's width above the original marking. I wish that I hadn't cut out the other bust dart because I suspect I could have just messed around with that one and not had to take out all 4 side seams to make my adjustments, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. We know better now. It's a lot better. It's not perfect. This side looks better than this side, but it's good enough. Let's deal with the hems. Center front and bottom hem are sewn. I ended up removing the interfacing from the entire lining and added it back only in the center front, attached to a facing piece, because this voile is so transparent that it was glaringly obvious in the most ugly way. Hopefully this will not be so obvious. Let's trim up them seams Samwise and make our edges nice and neat. The neckline edges and the arm size will be hand finished. This will keep my edges nice and perfectly even so that it can be fully reversible. This corner needs to be clipped so we can get a nice square neckline. Okay, it's 6:15 and we're about to lose the good light, so let's go ahead and switch gears to the petticoat for a minute. I'm gonna get the front pleated because that's the hardest part of the petticoat, and I'd rather do that when I can see. This is orange striped lightweight linen I also got from Burnley and Trowbridge. This is a history bounding petticoat, so we'll pleat it down to a waistband. I'm shooting for a mid-18th century vibe for this, starting with a 4-inch box pleat in the center and larger inch-wide knife pleats radiating out toward the side seam. I just realized while I'm pleating this that this is like the most un-hobbity thing ever. Can you imagine, like, you're going to make this whole outfit in one day, Mr. Frodo? When will you have time for 11sies? We definitely didn't have time for 11sies, did we? Well, meanwhile, we're still pleating. I'm 100% a diehard pleat by eye person, but if this is making you twitch, there are many ways to pleat your petticoat, including the dingle hopper method. Thank you so much to all of my supporters over on Ko-fi. You are the Sam to my Frodo and the most precious. If you're enjoying this video and would like to help support this channel, I've linked to my page down below. Or if you don't have the means, let's face it, times are tough. You can also just give the video a thumbs up and say potato down in the comments. Unlike the front, we're simply going to machine gather down the back of the petticoat to the waistband. You know, I usually do my 18th century petticoats completely by hand, and I enjoy hand sewing. I find it very relaxing. I like to do it while I'm watching TV in the evenings, but there is something to be said for knocking out an entire 18th century petticoat on the machine in just about an hour. That feels so good. All right, so I have the waistband sewn to each half of my petticoat. Here's the back. And now we're going to put this together on the sides, but we're gonna sew the first 2 inches below the waistband. And then we're gonna leave the next 9 inches open for the 18th century style pocket. And then at the top, on the back side, we're gonna sew in a piece of elastic to this side of the waistband. And then on the other side, we're gonna leave the waistband seam open so that we can fold this over and tack it down like that without having to fight the elastic the whole time. Well, my friends, it's 9 o'clock. Dinner is done, and we are ready to relax. Making an entire blouse and an entire skirt, not bad for a day's work, or half a day's work, if I'm honest. Also, you know, I had this whole gag planned for y'all earlier in the day, and my stupid straw wouldn't make noise. I had all of those other things that made noise, and then I just went to go put my tea gown on, and the other straw decided to start yelling on its own, completely without any kind of stimulus. So, without further ado, the world's most annoying straw. Anyway, I do technically still have time to do the Hobbity pumpkin spice headband, but Michaels was supposed to deliver my wire and my brown floral tape today, and it did not. So I'm gonna catch up on my hand sewing, and I'll catch back up with you when that's delivered so we can finish this project. Guess what finally came? At 5 p.m. Friday for the noon Saturday event. I ordered like 16 things from Michaels at the same time more than a week ago. They shipped in 4 different shipments. This was not the last thing that shipped, but guess what was the last thing to show up? The one thing that I needed that was timely. It's fine, it's fine. I'm not angry. I'm not angry at all. I'm just really fucking frustrated. But anyway, we still have time. At least it arrived. And my pumpkin spice halo should go together pretty darn quick, which is great because I gotta put my hair in curlers in the next hour. Also, Michaels, why this whole box for these 2 little things? Tiny. Tiny. That's the griping quota filled for this video. So let's get to measuring my head. This wire is much thinner than I expected, so we're going to triple it for strength. Once it's the size you want, you can secure the ends by wrapping the wire. Does anyone else find serger tails in the weirdest places? First order of business is to pull these floral picks apart. And yes, there is something really cathartic about destruction. We'll stick to the KISS method here since it's down to the wire, and wrap each section of pick around the base of the wreath, going in the same direction each time. Jackie, same direction. Same direction, dummy, not opposite. These chonker wires that were holding everything together can be saved for something else. I still haven't caught on to the fact that I've done it wrong, but you and I can sit here with the full knowledge that I'm going to have to go back and fix my mistake. Okay, so now I'm going through and pushing down all the bumps and wire ends to get everything as close to the base and the least pokey possible. When everything is where you want it, you can wrap floral tape around the base of the wreath, moving each pick away to get in where you need to. This not only keeps everything together really well, but it also protects your noggin from any stray pointy bits. I prefer to tear off lengths when I'm dealing with something with this many obstacles instead of just wrapping it with the whole roll. Okay, 20 minutes, well spent. I definitely picked this voile, 1, because it was already my stash, 2, because it's cheap, and 3, because the color was right. I did not think about it being an appropriate fabric for the job. Duh! It's really meant for something soft and flowy, not structured like this picnic blouse. I'm totally bummed about it because this would have made a fabulous reversible top. But the truth is the voile just, it doesn't work. And the voile will forever be just a lining. The other side, however, is fantastic. And since I've made this outfit, it has already gotten plenty of wear. If you made it this far, why not try and watch another video? YouTube is telling me that you would love this one. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. I love y'all, and I'll catch you in my next video.